And eighth graders, it is March 21, Tuesday, and you are watching a screencast either on that day or if you are going to be absent on that day, a little bit later. And the reason I'm doing this via screencast is because the content is way too important for you to miss. So there really is going to be no exemption for these next 2 days. I'm thinking the screencast and the ensuing report are going to be a 2 day deal. But what exactly are we learning? Okay. By the way, I found this little site called Doodly, and I wanted to doodle on here to show you what you're going to be learning. You should try this a little later on. Anyhow, what you're learning today is something called MLA. And MLA is a style or a format. It's just a kind of a funny way to say it's a way to write papers, and it's an accepted format that really is renowned throughout the English department as the way to write your paper. So it's something you're going to use in high school and beyond and in college. Okay, so this little smiley face indicates you're happy that I'm going to show you this cool thing that you'll know when you go next year to high school. But I found this website from Purdue University that kind of outlines what the MLA format really is all about. And it's called the MLA stands for Modern Language Association, but it says it's a style most commonly used to write papers, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so understood. Now, let's show you, I thought would be a good idea to show you what a paper looks like that's written in MLA format. So Luke Harry, our junior son, came to the rescue, and he shared a paper that he had to write in 10th grade for Mrs. Walensky. And I know he did this in 9th grade as well as part of one of his classes. But the anatomy of a paper written in MLA style, okay? This little deal at the top right with his last name and the page number automatically numbered is called a page header. Okay, now when you scroll through a multi-page document, notice as we go to page 2, it automatically has numbered it as such. So there's a space obviously between his last name and the page number. Okay, scrolling back to page 1, at the top, in the body now, this is not in the header region, this is in what they call the body. Okay, he has his first and last name, his teacher's name, his class that it's for, and the date, and it has to be in that format. Okay, that 15 January 2016. Again, that's all double spaced. Take note of the font, right? Mrs. Walensky asked the students to use 12-point Times New Roman. Okay, now that's pretty traditional. The one that we do, I'm probably going to have it use either that or Georgia. But the style book says you want a font that will easily show italics. So you don't want one of those kind of way out fonts like Syncopate, like we used in one of our things, or Impact. Those are a little bit over the top. Simple is good, and your teachers, I guess, will guide you more on that. But when you look at the body of it, okay, after the date, you've got your title, and there's nothing special about it. It's typed in title case. The first and last words are capitalized, and then all words in between that are important. To not being an important word, so it's not uppercase. And then the body of it, each new paragraph is indented, and we've got double space throughout. So as you scroll through his paper, that's what the body looks like. Throughout a research paper like this, you will cite outside sources. So when Luke is talking about this stuff in here, all right, those aren't his words. He got that information from this particular resource. So as you go through a paper like this, you're going to see instances where he's citing where he got that information. Okay? And then at the end of the paper, there's another resource, okay? At the end of the paper, he has to create what's called a works cited page. And we'll get to the works cited page tomorrow, exactly how to format it, and how to do a page break, and how to do a hanging indent, and these kinds of things. But that's the basic anatomy of a paper done in MLA format. All right, now I would suggest that you take this screencast, tear it away, and have it on the right side of your screen because we're going to go into Google Drive on the left side, and we're going to get you set up for a research paper. At the end of this, you will know how to create a paper in MLA format. You'll have the paper, and you can keep it. So next year, when Mrs. Walensky, or whoever you have for English, for that matter, we don't know who's teaching it next year for sure, but when your teachers ask you to do an MLA style paper, you can refer right back to this one, the one I have you do, okay, and you'll have a pretty good guide, okay. So let's head over to our Google Drives, and what I would like you to do, you're going to be pausing this so that you can see exactly what you're going to type. All right, this is what we're going to have at the end of our little tutorial. We're going to have a research paper about cell phones, using cell phones on the road and the danger. And we're assuming that you're a student, and we're making believe that we did all the research as a student, and so this is the paper that we came up with. So it's got it's got a main thesis in here. It's got resources, and it just needs basic typing and formatting. So you will type some of this, but you will not type all of it, okay? That would be cruel and unusual punishment for you kids. So I'm going to spare you the typing of the 6 pages, and we'll type some, but not all. So if you'll do your part, I'll cut you a deal on that. In tomorrow's screencast, I'll put a resource out so you can share this text that I typed up for you. So, but you will need to type up some of this. All right, so let's all go into our drive, and anyhow, let's create a new file. All right, it's a Google Doc, and I would like you to name it correctly, okay? So at the top, where we have untitled document, let's call this MLA, whoops, use that caps like that, sample, and then put a hyphen like that, double hyphen, and call it, just call it cell phones, okay? This is all about using cell phones in the car and their dangerous stuff, so we'll leave it at that. All right, now the first thing you need to learn how to do is a page header, okay? Now when the cursor's blinking at the top, you're gonna get a 1-inch margin all the way around. That's another thing I left out. Your English teachers are going to demand a 1-inch margin all the way around. How can we check that? From File, Page Setup. So if you did the same, you would see that you have 1-inch margins by default. Yay, you don't have to fix that. All right, so you don't bring your cursor down the page at all when you first start a research paper. In fact, you start it right at the top. But there's something that's missing. Up in the upper right-hand corner, in what's called the header region, a page header, you need your last name, a space, and then the page number. All right, to get up into this header region, up at the top, there's a couple ways to do it. All right, if you're slick, you can put your pointer up above where it's blinking, kind of where it's almost at the top of the page right here, and double click, okay? If you're quick enough with your double click, you'll notice that you're in a special region at the top of your page called the header region. So a page header is used for specific things such as this. All right, now, I know you kids like to turn on formatting first, so I'm going to try to feature this to best suit your style, okay? Your font should not be set in Arial 11 point. All right, your teachers will demand that it's like Times New Roman, Times, or Georgia, okay? Because those are very similar looking fonts to me. So let's do that right from the get-go. I am going to go with Georgia. You may go with Georgia or Times New Roman, okay? But choose one of those 3. And then change yourself over to a 12-point font, okay? So now we're in Georgia 12, and a page header should be right aligned. So this little guy right here is your alignment tool, right? We're good at right alignment. And we align this header right, and we simply type in our last name. Now, my last name is Harry. Don't type my last name, type yours, okay? And then you're going to use a space because you don't want that page number butted up against your last initial. And then to insert the page number, all right, we can go to Insert, and we can choose Page Number, okay? And then you have a couple styles here. We'll go with the first style, which indicates that you're going to get a page number on the first page. Notice this one has page numbering starting at the second page, so we would like style number 1. Page number starts on the first page. And now look at there. We have our first page done. That little gray box around the number indicates, hey, this is automatically numbering for you. Okay, it's not going to show up that way in print. And now you're ready for the body. Congratulations. Okay, to get into the body, we click once beneath that little gray line. See what I did? I clicked once right in this region, and looky there. My cursor's blinking, ready for me to type. Okay. Now, in the body, the first thing that you should do is turn on double spacing, all right? Because the rest of this should be double spaced throughout. So we're going to slide up here, turn on double space. And then let's start. Okay, I see that I'm switched out of Arial 11 point. That's not cool. It must have applied that font change I did only to the header, but no worries. I can change this back. I want Georgia 12 point. All right. Anyhow, the first thing that goes to the top is student's first and last name. Okay. Now, again, I'm going to use my first and last name, but you're the student, so you put your first and last name. And as always, you guys, you need to put capital letters for first and last name, okay? And then we're going to do a hard return, right? We press the return. Notice we have double spacing turned on, so we get the correct spacing. Next, the next thing that goes on is your teacher's name. Now, let's assume that you're typing this for Mrs. Driscoll. She is one of the English language arts teachers that you may get as a freshman. So her name is spelled like this. It's hard to do a screencast and type correctly, okay? So I apologize. All right, so there's her name. The name of the class. You know what? I'm just going to call this English 9, okay, for lack of having the correct name. I don't even know what it is. I think it is English 9. And then the date must go in the following format, okay? The day, and we're going to assume it's today, March 21st, okay? The month with a space after it. Notice no commas. And then the year with all 4 of the symbols like that. All right, now I would tell you to save it, but you don't need to because Google Doc saves on its own. Next, we type in the title of our document. By the way, you can pause this as needed, okay? But the title, if you're continuing with this format as you go type of concept, the title should be centered. So I clicked on the centered icon if you didn't catch that. And the title of this document is called A Call to Action, regulate use of cell phones on the road. All right. Now, you use what's called title case. We capitalize important words, first and last words. All right, now to is not important, of is not important. Notice I misspelled a word. No worries. Thank you, spell check. And then after that title, which is centered, we return. Now, this cannot be centered from this point on, so you're going to want to turn left align on. See how I click that left align button? And then to type in the first part of your body, you hit the tab key on your keyboard because paragraph should be indented. Okay? And I'm going to type in the first sentence, and I'm going to try to be quiet when I type so that I can actually type it without making too many errors. And then through the magic of editing here, I'm going to put the rest of what you have to type into the document, and you can pause, and your job is kind of crude today, and I do apologize, but you need to learn how to do this. And you need to learn some discipline and learn how to type and learn how to stick with it. So you're going to be typing the first 2 paragraphs, which gives you a page of double-spaced text, and then it will give you an idea of what it looks like and feels like to type a research paper. And then through the magic of editing tomorrow, I will share with you the rest of the text, which is, like I said, very wordy, okay? And we'll learn how to do a works cited page, and you'll have a pretty good sense of how to do a research paper, okay? At least an MLA style paper. All right, now, through the magic of, editing here, you're going to see the rest of what you have to type, and then that's it. Type in the body as you see it here shortly in the document, and then and you're good to go. And I know some of you type slower than others, so you're going to have to. That's a life skill. If you don't type as fast, you're going to spend more time on it. That's the way life is. Okay, I'm not as good at some things as other people are. I was like that in college and in high school, and that's how it works. Recognize your weakness and work at it and do whatever you have to do to overcome those weaknesses. So some of you are going to finish this very quickly, and then you have the rest of the time to yourself. Others are going to take more time. I'm sorry, but that's how it goes.